Welcome, devotees, to the Bhagavad Gita class. Today, we're coming to the end of this chapter, the middle. This is the end of the middle 6 chapters about Bhakti Yogi. It's the jewel in the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. And today I'm doing 18 and 19. It's together. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll do the word, recite the verse, and what we can do, one person can do the first one, and then the next one another devotee can do. Samaḥ śatrau cha mitre cha tathā mānāpamānayoḥ śītoṣṇa-sukha-duḥkheṣu saṅga-vivarjitaḥ tulya-nindā-stutir maunī santuṣṭo yena kenacit aniketaḥ sthira-matir bhakti-mān priyo naraḥ. We'll do word for word. Samaḥ, equal. Śatrau, to an enemy. Cha, also. Mitre, to a friend. Cha, also. Tathā, so. Māna, in honor. Apamānayoḥ, and dishonor. śīta, in cold. uṣṇa, heat. Sukha, happiness. Duḥkheṣu, and distress. Samaḥ, equipoised. saṅga-vivarjitaḥ, free from all association. Tulya, equal. Nindā, in defamation. Stutiḥ, and repute. Maunī, silent. santuṣṭaḥ, satisfied. Yena, kenacit, with anything. Aniketaḥ, having no residence. Sthira, fixed. Matiḥ, determination. Bhakti-mān, engaged in devotion. Me, to me. Priyo, dear. Naraḥ, a man. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Please repeat. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent, and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge, and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. So I'll do the prayers. Om Gena Timaranda Shah Gena Gena Salakaya Chakshumalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sargvajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Stam Sajivam Savadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhano Sutta Devi Panamami Hari Priye Vanta Kapya Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namaho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the purport, Prabhupada's purport. A devotee is always free from all bad association. Sometimes one is praised and sometimes one is defamed. That is the nature of human society. But a devotee is always transcendental to artificial fame and infamy, distress or happiness. He is very patient. He does not speak of anything but the topics about Krishna. Therefore, he's called silent. Silent does not mean that one should not speak. Silent means that one should not speak nonsense. One should speak only of essentials, and the most essential speech for the devotee is to speak for the sake of the Supreme Lord. A devotee is happy in all conditions. Sometimes he may get very palatable foodstuffs and sometimes not, but he is satisfied, nor does he care for any residential facility. He may sometimes live underneath a tree, and he may sometimes live in a very palatial building. He is attracted to neither. He is called fixed because he is fixed in his determination and knowledge. He may find some repetition in the descriptions of the qualifications of a devotee, but this is just to emphasize the fact that a devotee must acquire all these qualifications, all. Without good qualifications, one cannot be a pure devotee. However, bhaktasya kuto mahad gunaha. One who is not a devotee has no good qualification. One who wants to be recognized as a devotee should develop the good qualifications. Of course, he does not extraneously endeavor to acquire these qualifications, but engagement in Krishna consciousness and devotional service automatically helps him develop them. So, beginning with 13 up until 20, Prabhupada in the purport talks about the qualifications of a devotee. And let's go back from 8 to 12. In verse number 8, Krishna first starts with the highest process. Then from there, he works his way down. He starts with the highest, which is just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Person of God, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So this is the highest. But then, we know that, in general, we cannot really, a lot of the population, even some who come to this process, cannot start with the highest. So he goes and he gives, ways that we can progress. Just give something. Just see how magnanimous Krishna is. He is so kind. He's wanting everyone to come back home, so he's going to whatever level we can meet him at. Whatever, he says, if you can't, work for him, work without being attached to results and so on. Just do something, for your own benefit, to start on this path of devotion to Krishna. So he's wanting everyone to come back home. So he's opened the field, for different levels of consciousness. So he's so kind. He's saying, okay, there are different steps you can do. Just do something for me. Just do something on that process. So then, as I was saying, 13 through 20, when we look at all these qualifications, we could get a little, maybe discouraged, because I know when I started reading it, I was thinking, long way to go in developing all these qualifications. And he says, we have to develop all of these qualifications, not some of them. He said all, not just some. So I'll just go through, some actually, I'll try to go quickly through, starting with verse 13, and these qualities that he's asking us to develop. So, not envious towards anyone, including the envious. And the reason we're here is because we were envious of Krishna. That's the only reason we are here in this material universe. This is the reason we have this material body, because we were envious of Krishna. And so we had to come to the material realm, to work out this enviousness and to be the boss, to be the controller, and not have to answer the Krishna. And then we should be friendly to all. High, low, whatever. We don't see any difference. We should be friendly to all. And I was thinking especially, Vaisheshika used to talk about, when he went on book distribution, that even if someone is inimical, even if they don't want a book, or even if they say, no, I don't want to hear it, he said we should always leave a good impression. We shouldn't force them to accept or force our view on them. We should leave them with a good impression. We should leave with a friendly impression. We should leave. So at least they'll think, well, these devotees are, very kind. So we should be friendly to all. And that includes, all, whatever body they're in. And then we should be kind and merciful to all. We should be free from a sense of proprietorship. We don't own anything here. We came with nothing. We came empty-handed, and we're going to go back empty-handed. We're going to have to leave everything we think we may be attached to. So we'll go the same way we'll go the same way we came, with nothing. Everything that we're using, that we have access to, is just because of the mercy of Krishna, who takes care of his living entities. He takes care of all his parts and parcels. So he's making sure that everyone is taken care of, so nothing belongs to us. And then we should be free from false ego or identification with the body. And the false ego, when we leave the body, the false ego, as I understand it, is the last thing that goes. It's the thickest dimension. It's the false ego. And then we should be equal in happiness and distress. Because we come here with a certain amount of happiness and distress that's due to us, but not more and not less. So we should just be equipoised about it. Okay, this is, and not be attached to it. You know, be too happy or too distressed about what's coming our way. We should be forgiving and tolerant. And we should be satisfied always in our devotional service. We should be self-controlled, determined, and no one is agitated by us. We shouldn't agitate anyone. And we're not agitated by anyone. Equipoised in joy and distress, fear and anxiety. We should be neutral, devoid of all expectations. We should be pure and clean, expert, skillful in all situations. Without cares, unattached to material persons, free from all pains, as free from all designations, free from all material endeavors. This thing about free from all designations, we can see that everyone's attached to their nationality, to their country, to their kinsmen. All of us are attached. You know, we're identifying with a certain body, a certain race, a certain gender, you know, a certain nation. I'm Indian, I'm black, I'm American, I'm a man, I'm a woman. We're identifying with all these designations. Free from all material endeavors. We neither rejoice nor grieve. And as I read this, it doesn't mean that we don't have feelings, that we don't have emotions. But we stay balanced in that, no? We neither lament nor desire, renounce all auspicious and inauspicious things. We're equal, and this is where we are, we're equal to friends and enemies. We don't consider one person our friend and another person our enemy. Especially in the devoted community, that shouldn't exist. We see, you know, that all the strife and wars that go on in the world is because we see someone as our enemy. We should be equiposed in all dualities, honor, dishonor, heat and cold. And this thing about honor and dishonor, we're happy when someone praises us, but when somebody talks about us negatively, then we get disturbed because we want to be thought of as a good person, you know. So we get disturbed if someone, you know, says something negative about us or passes rumors. But all that is temporary. It only lasts for a short time, and it passes, regardless of, you know, whatever is being done or said. We should feel equiposed in heat and cold and happiness and distress. Always free from contaminating association. And we know how important association is. You know? because birds of a feather flock together. And when we're in a lower association, we can see that it doesn't really help us at all. You know, if we are not qualified yet to help raise somebody, then we should seek higher association. We're equal in criticism and praise. And silent doesn't mean we don't talk. But as much as possible, we try to talk about Krishna. We talk about devotional service. We don't talk about what's going on in the material world, because what's going on in the material world is going to keep on going even after we leave the body. It's still going to be going on. And if we don't make it in this lifetime, when we come back to the material world, it's still going to be going on. You know? So we don't have to entertain it or talk about it, or talk about politics or social issues. They're always going to be there. That's the nature of the material world. We're satisfied with whatever comes of its own accord. We don't make extra endeavor. And we don't care for any residence. And this means that wherever we are situated, we're satisfied with it. It's not that, I know I can't live under a tree. Those were for the pure devotees, the acharyas who could do that, but we can't live under a tree. And Prabhupada made these temples and made them nice, because how can we preach to someone and we're living under a tree when everybody is materialistic? If they see the devotees are living under a tree, they're not going to be attracted. They're not going to come, because, you know, they see, well, they don't have anything. That Krishna must not be doing anything for them because they have to live under a tree. They're not going to understand. So Prabhupada made really nice facility. And those nice facilities came because of the sacrifices of the early devotees. Because when they went, there was no nice facilities. But Prabhupada always stressed he wanted nice facilities for the devotees. We're steady in the mind and we're fixed in knowledge. So that means we have to control the mind, be in control of the mind. And so at the end he says, those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and completely engage with faith, making me the supreme goal, such devotees are very, very dear to me. So we want to be dear to Krishna. We want to please Krishna. So we can see that these qualities, we need to really look at these qualities and meditate on them and be introspective about where we are in this process, because we know this process is very, very deep, and it's not cheap. It's not easy, you know. So we have to surrender to Krishna. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamyaham. Whoever surrenders unto me proportionally, I take care of him. So to the degree that we surrender unto the Lord, that's the degree to which he responds. So, okay, when we have difficulties, you know, how much do we take shelter of the Lord? How much do we take shelter of Krishna? Or do we blame him? Why are you letting this happen to me? Why am I having such a hard time, Krishna? I'm trying to serve you and you're giving me all this problem, you know? But look at the Pandavas. So much difficult. I mean, there's so many examples in our scriptures. But I'm using the Pandavas because that's the one that's referred to in the Bhagavad Gita, particularly Arjuna, and they're fighting this war because Krishna wants it. So They had so much difficulty, but did they say to Krishna, Krishna, what are you doing? Just look, someone tried to set, a house on fire trying to kill us. They tried to poison our brother, Bhima. I mean, these are intense. These are intense. If someone tried to kill you, how would you feel? You would say, what's happening? Where is Krishna in all of this? Krishna wants us to move closer to him. And whatever we are experiencing, so-called good and so-called bad, is only what's due to us. So we should just remain determined to follow this path and to progress on this path. And we want to become very, very dear to Krishna. So our determination should increase. So also in devotional service, it's not the work that we're doing. It's not that we are workaholics. We see how much we can do, or by strictly just following all the rituals. It's more than that, because if that was the case, those, in the past who've done so much work for Srila Prabhupada, some of them fell away. But it's the consciousness with which you are offering this to Krishna. It's the consciousness that you have. And our advancement can be ascertained by how much our false ego is decreasing and how much are we becoming selfless and trying to serve everyone. And we are feeling the distress and happiness of other living entities. This is why Prabhupada went through so much difficulty to come all the way to the West to rescue those people in the West who were so degraded. He sacrificed. He had so many difficulties. Just coming here, he had 2 heart attacks on the boat coming. But it didn't change his determination to serve his spiritual master and to come and rescue those souls. So we are careful not to give pain to anyone, and we should be happy to see that someone else is happy. We should rejoice in the fact, that person is happy. And then maybe if we want their association, we should ask them, how come you're so happy? Tell me why you're happy. Tell me your secret to being happy. Share it with me if we're not happy. And then we should develop gratitude. Gratitude will increase our compassion for all the living entities. We should be grateful that we're here, especially in Vrindavan, no matter what's going on, COVID or no COVID, whatever, Krishna is control of everything. And so our complete surrender to Krishna opens the door to loving him. And we should be in a begging spirit, please, my dear Lord, please help me progress on this path, this royal path back to Godhead. Please help me. And then we make ourselves accessible for Krishna to intervene and give his blessings and give his divine mercy. Even those advanced acharyas, those devotees, they never said, I know Krishna, and sit down and do nothing. They were always looking for Krishna, begging for his mercy. Where are you? We should have that mood. Where are you, Krishna? Please extend your mercy to me. Give me your mercy so I can become a better devotee, so I can get all of these qualifications. He's willing to give the help, but we have to be willing to be a beggar. In the material world, being a beggar means negative, but being a beggar in devotional service means we know our position in relationship to Krishna. He wants us to absorb our mind in him only. So according to our sincerity, he hears our cry for help. And we have Srila Prabhupada in his mercy, he's there. We can always go and pray and ask Srila Prabhupada for help. It's not that, he's not present. If we pray to Srila Prabhupada, he will respond. If we pray for the acharyas, they will respond. I was sitting in the Prabhupada Samadhi one morning chanting, and across from me, I saw a picture of Ishwar Puri, and he had his hand up like this. And I was thinking, yes, let me take the mercy of Ishwar Puri, because I just happened to sit in front of him. And I was like, thank you so much. Help me chant with attention, please. Help me be focused. I need your mercy. And Krishna is known as Bhakti-Vatsal. He's never described as Jnani Vatsal or Yogi Vatsal. He's always described as Bhakti-Vatsal because he's always inclined towards his devotees than toward other transcendentalists. Because the Jnanis want knowledge first, and the yogis after they control their senses, So it's very difficult for them to get to understand Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that Krishna has a form. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about, why Krishna was so attracted to Arjuna. Because all this transaction is going on between Arjuna and Krishna. So we know it's because Arjuna was not envious. And he was very, very dear to the Lord. And in these last purports, Krishna is saying, if you develop these qualities, you'll become very dear. Very, very dear. And then very, very, very dear. To Krishna. And we want to become dear to Krishna. So we know that when Arjuna went to see Krishna in Dwarka, and Drona was there too, of course Drona wanted the army, but Arjuna only wanted Krishna. Now, Arjuna was a kshatriya, he was a warrior, so he could have also thought, we need more people, we need more soldiers. Let me just get the army. No, but he didn't want. He only wanted Krishna. No. So sometimes, even for our chanting, we may not make it a priority. We may decide that, okay, I'll do my chanting later. There's other priorities. But we should make chanting the priority. However we have to adjust our schedule, we should make chanting the priority. It is the priority. We should make it the priority. It means we're putting Krishna first. You know? So it means that Arjuna, he demonstrates that he considers the Lord to be more important than the resources of the Lord. You know? And then Krishna was always in Arjuna's heart. The sound of Krishna was coming from his heart. In his breathing, he only thought of Krishna. And then when Arjuna lost all of his strength, you remember when he was trying to rescue all the queens, you know, from the, and these were just coward men who came and took the queens and defeated Arjuna. And Arjuna was just seeing, like, now that Krishna is not with me, all my strength is gone. Krishna says in the Gita that I'm the strength of the strong. But Arjuna didn't, you know, like say, oh, well, why is he doing this to me? Now he's taking everything, you know. But no, he felt great solace when he was trying to remember Krishna. And he remembered how they were always so close. So he continued to serve Krishna. But generally when, you know, something, you know, we consider negative that happens out in our life, we blame Krishna. It doesn't make us embrace his shelter more. So we have this beautiful process. We have the Gita, and particularly this middle portion, which is telling us what we need to do to advance in this process. It's not that we should just be satisfied that, okay, I'm chanting my rounds and I'm doing service and I'm coasting. We need to feel a desperation to reach a higher level, to cry out for Krishna, to not just, you know, remain satisfied being, you know, just, you know, okay, I'm doing my service, and, you know, we should be willing to, like, really go deeper and push it. My Guru Maharaj always used to tell us, you know, when he was away, he would go away somewhere for maybe a month or two, and he would, before he left, he would say, I don't want to come back here and see all of you in the same mindset. I want to see some growth. I want to see that you've gone deeper in this process of Krishna consciousness. No. Don't be satisfied with just where you are. Because we know, okay, if we've had an opportunity to be around our spiritual master, we can feel his energy. Sometimes it's difficult to be with them all the time because they're in Krishna's energy. So they're always, you know, thinking of Krishna, what I can do for Krishna, and pushing us to do the same thing. And Krishna says in 12.6.7 that I will deliver you swiftly from the cycle of birth and death. So there he's saying, I will personally intervene. And he also says that I provide what you lack and I preserve what you have. So if we are introspective about where we are in this process, if we want to improve, if we see we need to improve, then we should go for it. Krishna is waiting for all of us. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Any questions, additions, comments, criticisms, corrections? Thank you all very much for being tolerant. Thank you for coming to the Gita class. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Rajavijja Prabhu. I remember your name because that was my favorite book. And I was like, oh, somebody named Rajavijja. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes?
Thank you very much, first of all, reminding us that we have to become better. Yes, reminding us that we have to become better. That's what God was saying.
Yes. He used to say, Gaura Govinda Maharaj was intense about it. You have to cry. You have to cry for Krishna. Do you really want Krishna? Then cry. We have to cry. Where are those tears? You know, to actually, like, you know, I don't have, but I want. I don't have, but I want. You know?
Thank you very much for letting us know that don't be satisfied that you are ambulance, the thing is going on. That guys you are giving a lot for, but I want to see a different mindset, more deeper and deeper.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, devotees. Jai. Bantu Kapilas Ruby Stride, people send to be able to. Bhakti-mān, Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavyo, Namo.